What's up, guys? I'm LQ. This is the LQ Review, and we're at that time of year now where people are putting their top 10 list online. And I gotta have my opinion out there also. So I'm gonna put my top 10 list out there. I got a couple honorable mentions, but want to share with you guys my top 10 movies of the year. Now, before I do that, please subscribe to my channel. Make sure that you're up to date with everything that I'm doing. But let's get into the top 10 list. Now, full disclosure here, I have not yet seen Jumanji: The Next Level. I'm gonna try to see that over the Christmas holiday. I doubt it would make the top 10 list anyways. As much as I like the first one, I doubt it would make my top 10 list, so I'm not that concerned about it. But just wanted to share that, full disclosure. So let's go over some honorable mentions real fast. So Knives Out is an honorable mention for me. Rian Johnson film, it just barely missed my top 10. Frozen 2 was an honorable mention. The Netflix Christmas movie Klaus was an honorable mention. That one kind of grew on me a little bit. I like it more now than I did right after I watched it. It just kind of stayed with me for what maybe it's just the fact that this is Christmas Eve, but for whatever reason that movie grew on me some. It Chapter 2 is an honorable mention. Alita Battle Angel is an honorable mention. Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile is one of my honorable. I love Zac Efron. Rocket Man. I know Rocket Man's going to be in a lot of people's top 10 lists. It's going to be in a lot of people's top 5. But it just didn't work for me as much as it worked for other people. Still liked it a lot. And Disney's Aladdin was an honorable mention. Who would have thought that Aladdin would have been better than The Lion King, would have been better than Maleficent? It was the best Disney live-action movie this year, if you take out Lucasfilm and, So let's get into the top 10. All right, number 10 is Crawl. Yes, the alligator movie. Who would have ever thought that an alligator movie would make my top 10 list? But here we are. It was suspenseful, it was scary, it was fun, it was well shot. It was a tight action thriller that I was just engrossed in from the minute it started until the minute it ended. So I doubt it's going to make a lot of people's top 10 list, but for me, Crawl is my number 10. Number 9, another surprise, and this one came out early in the year, and it stayed in my top 10 list all year long, and that's Fighting with My Family, the one about the wrestler Paige. Has The Rock in it in a limited role, but this movie was very heartwarming. It was very sweet. It was very funny, and I just loved it. And for whatever reason, Fighting with My Family just stayed with me all year long. So Fighting with My Family is number 9. Number 8 is in the top 10 because of its brilliant performance, and that's Uncut Gems. Guys, Adam Sandler is an amazing actor, and he showed it in Uncut Gems. He knows his audience, right? He knows that his audience loves his Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, goofy, stupid actor guy. But dude can bring it. In Uncut Gems, he just brought it, and he brought it to a different level. So I haven't reviewed Uncut Gems yet on this channel. I'm going to hope to do that over the next day or so. But it was brilliant, and he was great in it. So that's number 8. Number 7 is Shazam. I love Shazam more than most people did. I thought it was heartwarming, it was funny, and it had some scary parts to it with the 7 deadly sins, a great bad guy, great expansion of the Marvel family universe, not the MCU, but the Captain Marvel, Mary Marvel, the Marvel family, the Shazam family. Had a great expansion of that universe, and guys, Shazam was a very sweet, fun, funny, action-packed movie that I highly recommend. It was the superhero version of Big, and I know it didn't do well at the box office, but if you have not seen it yet, I highly recommend checking out Shazam. It's my number 7. Number 6 is A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Tom Hanks brought it to that role, but funny enough, it's not really a Mr. Rogers movie. It's more about the guy that wrote the article. And Mr. Rogers is a supporting character in it, showing how he changed the life of this very cynical man. It's a very heartwarming story, and it's something that initially I was going to have it ranked a little bit higher on my list. I don't think it's got the rewatchability factor that some of the other movies do, but it's still just a great movie about what a good person can do in the lives of others. So Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood is my number 6. And Tom Hanks, dude is brilliant. Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, number 6. Number 5, my 5th favorite movie of the year was The Irishman. Martin Scorsese proved that he is still a master filmmaker. Whether you agree or disagree with him when it comes to the comic book movies, the Marvel movies, Martin Scorsese is a great filmmaker. Now, yes, The Irishman was a little long. It was a little overindulgent. It didn't have to be that long. It didn't. But it was still brilliant. It was brilliant filmmaking. And Joe Pesci came out of semi-retirement to own this role. I mean, he was brilliant in this. If Joe Pesci does not get a Best Supporting Actor nomination, then there should be an investigation, because Joe Pesci was brilliant in The Irishman. But overall, just a great story, a great movie, and definitely worth your time. Even though it's 3.5 hours long, it's worth watching because it was just so beautifully shot, and it's such a great story about this man who's put in this position, working for the mob, to do some things he doesn't want to do. So Irishman is number 5. Number 4, this is sure to be controversial. Half of you are going to love this call. Half of you are going to call me crazy for it. But my number 4 is Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. I thought it was a beautiful end to the trilogy and a beautiful end to the Skywalker saga. I loved it. I unashamedly loved The Rise of Skywalker. Had some great moments in it. Yeah, the first 45 minutes or so was a little sloppy, but once they finally found their stride, in this 2.5-hour movie, once they finally found their stride, the rest of the movie was firing on all engines, and it hit all the emotional highs that I wanted this movie to hit. And it was brilliant, and I'm so glad that I was able to go into it with kind of a unbiased mind and just take it in. And I loved what JJ brought us. So number 4 is The Rise of Skywalker. Number 3, Avengers Endgame. You knew this was going to be on the top 10 list, and it's my number 3. It is a little bit long. It's a 3-hour movie. It's over 3 hours. And the first 2 hours, to be fair, the first 2 hours are a little sloppy, kind of suffering from some of the same stuff that the first 45 minutes of Rise of Skywalker suffered from. They got a lot of story to tell, only so much time. And that first 2 hours of Endgame was a little bit sloppy. Some great moments, but also some moments that didn't work as well. But that last hour was the best hour of cinema that I saw all year long. From the time that Hulk snapped his fingers to the rest of the movie, the best hour of cinema all year long. It was brilliant. Yeah, it was filled with fan service, but it was the best kind of fan service. So Avengers Endgame is my number 3. My number 2 movie of the year is Joker. Man, Joaquin Phoenix. Dude he's the best actor of our time. He's the best actor of our time. You know, if you say Daniel Day-Lewis was the best actor of the last decade, Joaquin Phoenix is the best actor of this decade. And Joker is just that cherry on top of that pie. Man, this was a brilliant movie. This is a brilliant movie that kind of just deconstructed our society, deconstructed what makes a person broken. It goes into the mental health, goes into the class issues that we have in this. And I've said many times, I do not believe that there's such thing, and this is sure to make a lot of people mad. This is going to make a lot of people mad. But I don't believe that there's such thing as white privilege in this country. I believe there's class privilege. There's class privilege. And rich people are far more privileged than middle class people, who are far more privileged than poor people. And this just reaffirmed that for me. This was a brilliant movie about a broken man who gets more broken. There's nobody around him to care for him. There's just people around him push him down and stomp on him more. And loved it. Love the Joker. That's my number 2. My number 1, though, my best movie of the year, my favorite movie of the year, was Jojo Rabbit. Jojo Rabbit was hilarious. Taika Waititi this was hilarious. I mean, you either get the joke or you don't get the joke. And if you don't get the joke, you're probably going to be offended by it, to be honest with you. But I got the joke. I thought it was hilarious. This whole idea of this kid who is in this, the Nazi youth movement, and Hitler is his imaginary friend. He reveres this guy so much, he's his imaginary friend. And as this kid becomes more disillusioned with Nazism, Hitler his imaginary friend goes from this goofy, funny guy to being this mean, evil person in his imagination. And it's how this kid gets woke to the evilness that he's been embracing. I'm not even realizing he's been brainwashed. So, guys, Jojo Rabbit is a hilarious movie, but it's also very relevant and very brilliant in the way that in the way that it tackles the subject of these poor kids who are taken into this movement and were brainwashed essentially. And this kid was able to wake up. And guys, Sam Rockwell is somebody, watch out. I think he might get a Best Supporting Actor nomination as well. Sam Rockwell was great in this as a Nazi general who, I won't say he ever found redemption. I won't say that he ever found that he ever woke up and realized how evil he was and what he was doing was, but it showed he had a genuine affection for these kids. And I think that it was a brilliant performance, very layered, very nuanced, very complicated and complex, just like this movie is. It's a very complex movie. Like I said, you're either in on the joke or you're not. And I was. So it's not going to work for everybody, but it worked for me. So my top 10 again, number 10 is Crawl. Number 9 is Fighting with My Family. Number 8 is Uncut Gems. Number 7, Shazam. Number 6 is A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Number 5 is The Irishman. Number 4 is Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. Number 3 is Avengers Endgame. Number 2 is Joker. And number 1 is Jojo Rabbit. So now's that time. What were your top 10 favorite movies of the year? I would love to see your list. Remember, this is all subjective. There's no one list that is the correct list. They're all correct. They're all correct because it's subjective and all movies are going to hit people in different ways. So let me know your top 10 list. It's going to look very different from mine, and I'd love to see it. So thank you for being here at the OQ Review, where we talk about all of the geeky, nerdy stuff we love to talk about. And Merry Christmas.